Busy week. Hi. So what does this bring? Well, as you can tell from the title, I volunteered my services to our other Champ 1, Champ 2 team in IGL, Tier 3. That'd be the Scarlet Scorpions. Um, they had a matchup actually just last night. Um, they got reverse swept. Um, Felt like a little bit. There's kind of like partially a tale of two series there. You know, hats off to their opponents. Their opponents look like a slightly better team, but it took a little bit for them to get going, it looked like. So there's definitely some opportunities here. So we're just going to cover three games. I got game 1, game 3, and game 4. So unlike my rebroadcasts, not much to really hide here. And we may be popping in and out of Fade to Black in case any of the Scorpions hit me up. I do this at these weird times during the week because, you know, I want to attempt to game during prime hours. And that's working out really well for me. So let's get into it. I felt like that was a call out for a pinch, and it was just like a little late. Also, earlier there was a miss on the backboard, so just always try and get those. So these are always something I want to go over, just in case there's anything worth looking at. So I mean, really, just seeing if, in this case, what happened? Did Prodigy just miss here? It feels like. Okay. I mean, technically won the 50 there, but yeah, that just kind of floated out. So whereas it's like, hey, get the what's opponent's kind of teaching moment. So I'm just trying to follow Prodigy through this, just to see. So Prodigy rotates back, gets a boost. Okay, so the teaching moment here is, again, assuming perfectly working comms, finesse I've already, or is about ready to call mistouch or whatever. Prodigy can just kind of like let up on the speed and just be ready for this. So like probably by here should recognize that, you know, finesse is at least touch the ball. Parking is coming back. This is just a weird tail off, which assumes something. I mean, really, Prodigy should have been first as ball. I mean, that's the unfortunate fact about this. I was kind of lining it up here, but Ike just jumps on it, and like actually doesn't get any into it. But I mean, like still, like kind of because of the challenge, actually forces Prodigy to make just a really really bad touch. You know, And like I'd say within reason, parking is responding correctly. Um, just is slightly late, you know, just um, yeah, and drops in bar down. So you know, I feel like there was some sort of just like quick weird breakdowns on comms on the orange side, but again, just like something to always remember about that. So and obviously there's also like, you know, theoretically the level I'm supposed to be playing at, and you know what's happening here is that you know there's a slightly slower decision making, which could result into that. So this is probably going to go a little bit longer than expected. So corner steal. Okay, Ike's kind of at a relatively decent depth. Okay, dodging. I mean, the reverse to that is like you know, you can make a wider turn on this. You know, you're just gonna have to come up just a little bit quicker, but you know, also that there's not really like there's you know, so I call this on like on the Mongoose's side, like where I'm taking like a snapshot of everything. Like this is perfectly fine what Ike's doing. So at best, someone from Orange might be playing on the ball here. You know, so obviously the one thing to say to think about, you know, or log in your mind is all these people are coming in from you know the far side, as a result of basically like you know the play and whatnot. So, and just by judging by this like little hesitation to come on out, it's probably always just best just make a cleaner circle rather than putting some dents in there. Again, it's you know it's kind of like it feels like oh yeah I'm gonna read it. Oh wait, this ball's coming in way too fast. I need to readjust. And like I kind of dropped this in on the Scorpions last night where I was just saying like, you know, this is what I'd like to call out, and you know, here's this teaching moment. Again, all these rules are made to be broken. People break them, I think, way more often than they should. But the rule that I'm saying here is sometimes it's just better to be further out than to be closer in. Further out, you can move up. You know, you have a chance at the ball. But it's a lot more difficult to back up. You don't carry any speed. You know, you're going to actually lose your speed. So, and in a way, just like being further out does give you the extra time to react and read the play. But, you know, here we are. So I think Ike's got the read on this. So really, it's just a matter of dodging parking. And he sort of does. I don't think you necessarily need to boost there. Because actually the boost kind of put him out just, you know. But again, like we're looking this at hindsight and through the replay. So again, it's just like, this is just something to keep in mind. That's all. Okay, someone did follow. That's good. Same for the orange side. I don't necessarily mind that, just looking for a teammate. It's a good in by orange. So I just want to call that out real quick. Just make sure, again, I don't have access to the comms, but, you know, it felt like that was a call out, and if that was, that's good on the defensive core. You know, just helps to know where all your teammates are. And then we had that happen, which, you know, for Ike, just make sure, you know, move passing up or leaving it for you or whatever. You know, that's just called. So just something here, the teaching note. So I don't necessarily like this challenge from Prodigy. It is like kind of in the gray area. Like I understand the logic behind moving up. The problem is at this point, this is just almost basically like, you know, an offensive like leap off the ball. So like Prodigy's only going to hit that back, and just kind of like I would probably just, in this case, I would probably just be rotating, you know, on the wall. If I didn't get it, I feel like, again, the general player base, because I, again, see it happen at my level, goes for these way too often. And it's just, I don't think a lot of people have, you know, the car control or the ability right now to get it to where they need to go. It would be different if Prodigy was kind of chasing the ball out and attacking this, you know, going forward. It's just going back. You know, there is like a relatively decent area to hit the ball, but, you know, this is kind of like a low reward type of situation, because it will put, you know, their teammate coming out, you know, of net into a really difficult situation if the ball's not placed anywhere near them. So again, just like something to keep in mind with some of these challenges. So this almost looked like a possession, like throwaway too. Okay, so none. So okay, so Prodigy misses. Fox just throws it down, and Parking mixes. Yeah, there's, I mean, not much really to say there. Because, I mean, so after Smith, this ball goes down. Do we talk about the general triangle theory? I don't necessarily disagree with this. Like, let me see something. Okay, so I probably want to see like what Parking is doing. Okay, so moving up, like, that's fine. Because you know Finesse is back there coming back. Prodigy's going to try and challenge at the very least. Okay, so the actual problem here is Parking should be moving up. Yeah, okay. Okay, so somewhere around here, this is probably where I've logged this situation. This is okay. So this is why I think Parking should be challenging here. So here's the snapshot. Like you've kind of now got a mental. You know, Finesse is behind you, was going backwards. Might have turned around at this point. Probably doesn't have the speed. You Parking. You know, let's say I'm Parking. I am now carrying speed. I see basically now through Prodigy's move through the air that they're coming back. So they don't have a challenge on this ball. So I would probably say challenging, and I'm going to go challenging or chasing. Also because like I know Tate is from the blue side is not landing anytime soon. It's going to be Fox's ball, so Fox is going to go chase this down, and Ike is kind of probably going to come back near side. So really, Parking should be challenging this ball. And I feel like this is like a weird, like, might be communication, but I mean, like, even then, like, I see, like, no one on my team is going to challenge this ball. And, like, I can understand the school of thought of, like, sort of just giving up possession here, but I think you can force Fox into rushing something. And the reason being is that you know you have two people back. So I think this is like a situation where Parking essentially becomes the one. And I don't necessarily disagree with challenging because it's like this isn't necessarily a free challenge, but again, I think you can pressure the you know your opponent here into doing something. Just based on the fact that you know the opponent was backwards, was basically going to have to retrieve this ball from, you know, basically the corner. And I'm assuming Fox played that as if he was under pressure. So this is kind of where it becomes okay. So also, if I would have pulled off like this, I would be looking back to figure out where my teammate is, because that is completely going to depend upon how I rotate. So this is like this is going into the for Scorpions. This is going into what I would do territory. So your mileage may vary, but I actually think this is probably the smart thing to do here. So, background, I subscribe a lot to far post rotation, just making clear signals and this. I would also be say like just if I was doing what Parking had done through this point, I would say rotating into 3. Basically going to become the 3 or something like that, rotating far post. So the reason why is because I've basically given up possession at this point. Like, based on this, like, Prodigy says they're going to get it. So I would actually be... I probably would have looked behind to figure out where Finesse was. Finesse is... where is Finesse? So Finesse is like actually coming up here. So I probably would have seen like Finesse challenging. In this case, I would just be making a full circle and going back far post. And part of that would be is because this ball is going to be launched down through the middle of the field. Like, I don't know exactly where it's going to come into, but like if Fox gets a touch on it, and if like Prodigy puts up a challenge, like Fox is gonna have to put it up high. That's gonna come over to basically this side of the field, and like, the theory is like kind of based on how this is playing out. There might not be anybody on the right side of the field from the blue side, so I can do whatever I want. So instead. So something needs to happen here with these two people back. So they either need to form a triangle or parking needs to be doing what I'm saying. So the triangle is you have like your 1 and 3 stacked like in some sort of line, just depends on where the ball is. And basically the 2 is like, in the east-west part center of the field, according to the play. That, again, that's the general concept of this. I don't think that actually applies here because Orange is not in possession of this ball. And again, I do think that this is in part just, because this is theoretically a C1, C2 lobby, there's, a different thought process. So I'm just kind of explaining, like, kind of my thought process behind it. So we can kind of see now Finesse is, like, creeping in the picture. Again, I don't think there's any communication happening right here between Orange. For Finesse can be playing further back. So the reason why Finesse should be playing further back is it's kind of based on Prodigy's challenge and like theoretically what should be happening. Because this is a challenge. It's not necessarily a challenge for challenge sake. It's Prodigy's challenge is probably just more of a challenge to force the opponent to do something. But I think, yeah. So I kind of want to see like what's happening here from Finesse's perspective too. So that ball's going down. You have no boost. So, wow, here comes our first 30 minutes. So here's sort of the problem. And before we get into it, we'll back up. Man, there's a lot of things that activate everything. Okay. Let's back this up. A lot of keyboard keys that I use for multiple purposes that interfere with the replay. Okay. So Finesse has absolutely no boost. Has 12. So this is pretty dangerous positioning through the replay. Now, I don't even know if I'd be this far up. Okay, let me see through Finesse. If I was Finesse. So I'm going to get this clear, which is a pretty good clear. Okay, so Finesse looked around. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. Okay, so if this is solo queue, I mean technically, of course, parking is going to cut because that's what happens in solo queue. Um, I might actually have bailed on this. So So I think this falls into the better just stay back and play it safe, and then I can move up in the play, versus really come up because like finesse is kind of there's which I think again, if I would say is a criticism of the rank, is so finesse. Yeah, finesse goes for the 100. So and gets like again like a lot of things are wrong here. Um, just going through the play. Like if you're going for this 100, you need to peel off. Again, I think it's more to take the conservative route. So finesse should be making just like a circle back. Should not even think about challenging this ball. Like, and then the problem is like stops on the boost and tries to get the challenge, and this ball's coming out hot. Um, Again, I sort of understand kind of the logic being used here, but this is kind of like where I actually think it's wrong. Um, because it's like there's no way finesse is going to win this ball. So I just think that again, my opinion is I probably would have just played safe and been back. Um, Again, I think all this positioning with between finesse and parking can be solved by comms. Um, so and that would greatly influence. But I think when your teammate is based on everything that happens when your teammate is making a challenge to force them to do something, you're just much better off being back further than wherever you think you should be at, because like rarely is your teammate going to actually get a touch on that ball that will result in the ball being like coming down off the ceiling and being in the offensive zone. Usually you're just trying to force the opponent to go over the top and they're not going to get a second touch on it. So now we go back go back through parking. So obviously I've said that parking needs to be just going all the way back. Again, there's some sort of breakdown communication here. Like, just head back. Just head back. Doesn't. So then moves up. Okay, so because of what... So, again, I'm going to ignore all the decision making. Now focus on this. So I like the turn here. This is what I call a solo queue turn, is you realize that you're about to become the 3 probably when you shouldn't. So just turn back. Yeah. And I think this is a champ 1, champ 2 rush to hit the ball. I don't even think you can boost this ball. You don't even need to turn on it. You could basically just so parking really doesn't even necessarily need to turn on this. if they do, like, you have to recognize as a 3 that you have to hit this. But I don't think you even need to boost into it. Again, if you're worried about, so again, working through everything, if you are worried about Fox isn't going to do anything to you here. Because Fox kind of flew off the wall and into the, in the ball. And Fox is kind of coming left off the ball. So we can kind of like move back into the player view for this. So like Fox has kind of like made a hit and flip. So like take the snapshot. So Fox is not getting this ball here. If Fox has any boost, like he might make a challenge at the wall. But one of the things to remember is that like Fox is probably going to be coming at the ball and trying and like theoretically hitting the ball in the corner, doing something like that. So approaching it from the left side of the ball, or and from Fox is going to be moving to their right. So I feel like this is just kind of like an unnecessary panic to meet the ball, and you don't even need to boost into it. And I guess one of the key things to recognize is that Fox flip. You can see Fox flipping, so they don't have their flip. They don't have anything. So, you've got more time, and this is a cousin to. It's an opposite, more like the opposite cousin to when playing hits off the wall. Reading off the back wall and moving up is always be up in the air sooner or earlier than you think you need to be. And that's just because there's usually an opponent challenging. So balls rolls up. And I can pretty much block 75% of any touches. That's in the back of the net. Yeah, so we've spent like 15 minutes looking at play. But I think that's like important to recognize. And like again on that play, like Finesse should just probably call out empty, no boost, whatever. Just to say that they're out of boost. So, yeah, just right there, like, Fox needs to just... When you're in a situation like this, just... You're going to be putting the ball in the corner. Like, figure out how you want to hit it, but you need to be attacking the ball in some sort. And, like, instead you just, like, kind of hope that, well, it's going to roll out. I would just... Yeah, so if Ike says can't get it, Fox should be just trying to put the ball in the corner in some way. I would obviously be trying to roll it there, or like missing the corner in a way so that it makes a passage through the corner. So hitting it there by like the play now, or the Rocket League sign to the left of play now there on that back wall on the left side, just so that it bounces in the corner and stays more to the wall versus coming out and just giving the opponent more angles at the net. We're about to explain a new rule, I think. Okay. This is fine, but I do want to mention a rule I call the gravity rule. Because this is more of a clear, and Paraji just kind of ended up there. So this is fine that Finesse is chasing this because Paraji basically isn't dribbling the ball, but if your teammate is dribbling the ball, especially in the air, please observe the gravity rule. The gravity rule is let gravity finish dribbling the ball in the air and then go from there. Don't figure out where the ball is going to be. Let gravity serve it up. This didn't happen in this case, but this is just something to keep in mind for future use. Because, you basically essentially end up with this, which is like two people on the same side. This isn't bad. This is just kind of like Paraji landing. Kind of a fortunate touch because it goes down the field. So, I just thought I'd get that rule mentioned now. Man, I feel Fox right there. Don't mind that challenge. Man, why is no one there? I didn't want ball. I want none. Okay. So last 10 seconds or whatever. So parking wins the challenge. Tate clears it out. Not necessarily good clear. Okay. So now we're into the review 10 seconds of footage or whatever from everyone. So Fox is going to, again, Fox needs to be up quicker. So my advice on Fox, usually on this, if you're playing cherry picker, if basically the ball is not already out to you, when you're on the half line, you just have to come back. Like I don't mind this boost. I don't mind the boost heal, and even coming back through the play or anything. Although probably I would boost heal and go back far post. And the caveat would be is that, the reason why I'd be moving back is that the ball's not back out here. Like, I just need to get back. Because theoretically, Ike is going to have a better hit on this. Tate kind of doesn't get a good hit. So, the ball's in your end. Like, you can't sit up there and cherry pick forever, especially when you're leading. So I would just be making, probably if I was down 2, I'd just be making tracks back, to the rotation, to my defensive end. So let's follow Tate here. So it comes out the corner. Yeah, Tate just kind of pre-jumps it, like he's in the right position, but like just kind of needs to get a better hit, and it's kind of like a drop. Yeah, I would just... Let me see if there's a better play. I don't know if there necessarily is. I mean, I guess a drop's kind of fine. So if that's what's the intention. Like, it's going to get served on net or thrown in the middle, but kind of had a boost too. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I don't know if there could be a better hit. So this is okay. So this is probably where it's going to completely break down. Okay, so like that's not necessarily the worst challenge. You're probably going to block it or get a touch, and it's going to do something in the corner. Like you got Fox kind of there. Okay. I'm trying to figure this one out. I want to say this is a C1, C2 challenge. I don't like it at all. But let me see. Okay. Yeah, this is kind of bad. Okay. Okay. So this is like goes in the realm of like next level defense. Okay. So right here so Ike is making a turn to go upfield. I gotta. Okay, so you know Fox is up 5. Fox actually, that's not necessarily a good hit. Like it's a good attempt by Ike. Okay, all right. So we probably would have been here, which is unfortunate because I kind of turned upfield. I actually would have started circling back earlier, which you could say like, well, why? Because like theoretically, Tate you probably would have made the decision a little bit early, and Tate's going to get that ball. Again, this goes back. This probably has to do a lot more with me, but this is why I would be circling back. So the reason why I'd be circling back is even though I know Fox is coming back here, Fox is still kind of in the middle of a rotation here and is like basically upfield. Fox is eventually going to become theoretically the 3, but he's not. He's a 1 coming back. So in this play, obviously, this makes Tate the 2, and by process of elimination, Ike is the 3. So Ike, despite like whatever happened, should be making an effort to get back into the net rather than going upfield. You can always turn upfield. But here's why. So if Tate hits the ball upfield, you might be throwing away possession. You might not be. Like Fox can always turn on it though. That is one outcome of this. The other outcome is that Parking, which obviously we know wins the ball at least. And now you're upfield, and suddenly Tate's the 3, and Fox is coming back. So at this point, and there's a weird rotation due to bumps and everything. Like, there's a lot to unpack here, and I'm waving my hands around because it's like, wow, there's a lot going on here, a lot of weirdness. So again, I think this is. You'll hear me refer to these in a lot of videos. Is that you also have to be taking into account down and distance, and you're up 2 goals, 1:30 to play. You don't necessarily have to turtle, but I think taking the defensive decision here is actually pretty good because one way you can let your opponents back in the game is giving them free reign of your net, and this is kind of what this is doing. Because again, like, if Tate blasts this ball, like, it's probably coming over to this side of the field anyways, and it's going past Finesse. And if Tate hits the ball straight, it's going down in the corner. And again, you can always regroup and figure out what you need to do then. But, like, what you need to be sort of doing is also considering the other happens. What happens if we don't? And if Tate basically in this situation is a 3 and Parking wins the ball, well, you better hope that Fox can cover the net. And like we kind of see Fox fly by. But like I'm kind of firm in like just making decisions or whatever. And then I really hate this challenge because I don't actually think, like, I don't think even if Finesse misses the ball that Ike's going to get a touch that improves things, actually. Because most likely it's going to be hit in the corner and come back out. And, like, I would just, like, based on positioning, I'd just rather have Fox clear this ball away at this point. So now, kind of like, and again, we also discussed this situation like, oh hey, we had Prodigy challenging to be challenging. The problem is that the net is kind of open, and Finesse sort of like semi passes the ball. Like, we'll probably have to get to Finesse to see what's going on. So while we're breaking this down, I have Discords. So hold on one second. Something not as important. So I actually kind of want to get a view on like what Finesse sees. Yeah, so Finesse actually comes in hot, but Finesse should totally be shooting this ball. And kind of actually throws her across in the middle. I like Prodigy's not really expecting that, so yeah. So the problem here is this is like, in a way, this is pricing yourself into a 5% challenge. Which again, maybe I don't even know if this is a 5% challenge. This is probably a 1% challenge at best. So this is like, but this is like understanding how we got here. Like, this is just basically, maybe I can ooga booga, or hey, look that, what's up there in the stands doing that. Just trying to like do anything, hoping that Finesse strikes it incorrectly, because like if Finesse like struck this correctly, that ball would be in the back of the But they come up a little too hot. Um, and now it looks like, in a way, like Ike is blocking the pass. So again, like, we've had, again, this is how I feel. We've had a couple of wrong decisions here, and it's kind of like it feels like, oh crap, I screwed up. I need to do something. Oh crap, I screwed up. I need to do something. And sometimes the best thing to do is just like not do anything, or just correct it by trying to do the right thing. And I don't think like any of these decisions are necessarily correct. So I just want to point this out. Like, just rotate back here. Just cover Tate in case the challenge is lost. Like, yeah, theoretically Tate should get to the ball, but again, like, better be safe than sorry. It's 140. You're up 2. And I would still be circling back here to the net. Because also you have 58. Like, I think you actually have a better chance of cutting down the angle by rushing towards the net and blocking everything, rather than trying to interrupt Finesse, because Finesse is actually closer to the ball than you are right here. So I think just trying to again, and that's like some super next level pre-jumping, but like I think that's what you have to do, and that's like the 10% play. So anyways, this happens. Also, Tate should not be coming in this way. So before we finish off Ike. Okay. Yeah, Tate, at this point, Tate should not be coming in this way. Because this is like, yeah, this is rotating into the play. Like, I know that Tate is gonna like get some sort of touch block here. Which actually, when I said I didn't know what Tate should do, Tate should be turning. Tate should not be jumping. Like, okay, you missed. Get down on the ground immediately. Like, like, I know this is when you should actually break the rule. Tate should be coming in basically to the near post. And the reason why Tate should be moving into the near post is if Finesse mishits that high, it's, moving right to left. I don't know if Tate's going to be back in time for a save, but like, again, like this is like giving yourself the biggest chance. And Fox is like somewhat there. Not in the best position, but still. But like, just trying to get over there, like you're not really going to contribute anything. You're not going to get this ball. So like, this is sort of like Fox's ball, in a way. But by doing this, like, you're not, like, this is kind of like trying to like next level on offense, and you don't necessarily really need to do with that, because if Fox wins the challenge, like, that ball's going downfield and Fox is probably going to be the first one to it anyways. So like in the case of Tate just needs to come in, because if Tate was coming in for our post, like, Tate kind of has to backtrack on this ball a little bit and pre-jump. Like, you're actually in a lot better chance. And, like, really, Tate could be launching forwards in a way. And instead of, like, that ball dropping here, that ball might be dropping, like, anywhere from the edge of the corner on out. And, like, so, like, the difference there would be is that Paraji might be attacking that ball straight head on. Or having to make an adjustment. So like, again, like I sort of get this, but like I think at the higher ranks, like this is, you know, like not making weird rotations and just making like clean rotations, like it so much improves everything. So let's get back to Ike. Yeah. So what Ike should have done. That is fine. I don't. Yeah. So Ike gets into a situation where he kind of makes. I think he's trying to get 36, but is reacting like. I think this might be a situation where Mike might be in a situation with 12. But this is a situation where you just sort of have to live with it. Um, yeah, I would either be on that goal line with 0, or I would have taken a route that would basically I would still try and put me on the goal line, probably a little bit in front of far post here with 12 or 0. So now why would I have 12 or 0? Why would I not be trying to do everything? Well, the reason why, and this is like next level defending, is in part because like the way my teammates are rotating, like I need to be prepared for something going terribly wrong. And like so that ball's going into the corner. Um it's the same thing with kind of like how I mentioned it for Tate. Like I just need to be prepared to get that ball away. Um and I think this is just kind of like a really bad line because like now at this point, Ike is not in really good position to defend a lot of things. If Parkin gets that ball, maybe. But, so again, I think it's just like if coming in from the side with 0 or 12, it just gives you better time to think about things and just like see everything. I want to get through this play before I check Discord again, just because, like, holy cow, we're already approaching an hour, which I guess I shouldn't be surprised at. So, like, again, this is sort of the thing. Now, I could see Ike kind of gearing up here, so kind of using boost to get boost. I think at this point, Ike needs to be just challenging the ball. If you're going to take this route, you just need to challenge the ball. I don't agree with challenging the ball because I'm last person back. Again, who knows what I might have done. I probably would challenge the ball because I have confidence in my abilities. And if this was solo queue, I'd be kind of mad at my teammates a little bit because this is like really, really messed up. But I also might have taken the conservative route and just be in net. But like this falls in the ground of like last person back, and it totally looks like I could have pressed the issue. So like, here's the problem though. There's no one challenging this ball. Like Prodigy's gonna have to like, kind of finesse it, no pun intended. But like he's gonna have to like strike this well to put in the back of the net. But I don't want to be in that situation where now suddenly I'm turning in like this, like it's a ones play. and I'm going to have to do something about it. Because here's the thing. Like, ignoring the demo, Ike's not there. Ike's not there to get it. So, like, you know, just basically throughout all this, like, there was basically like no one really covering the net here for a majority of this attack. You know, and then it's like tapped in. All right, so there's really only one channel I care about, and that's not it. BZ, I am just recording this live because I don't do any video editing. So this is me providing replay review for the Scarlet Scorpions, one of our tier 3 teams. And I just basically walk through my my thought process on everything. Also do replay review for the other tier 3 team, the Mischievous Mongooses. I kind of like both teams have some weird scheduling. So this is one of the best ways to provide them feedback, is go through their replays. Yes, we do. It's posted somewhere in the I think it's the Twitch YouTube directory, but you can always search for Best Buds United. That should take you to the YouTube. So this just might be panic defense, but we will of course review it and just see what happens. So that gets served in. Good challenge by Ike. Okay, no, parking does not need to be going for this. But is this a cut? No, it's not. It's pure panic. So you don't necessarily need to be going for this here. So the teaching moment here is I actually don't have a Prodigy's doing some weird stuff. What parking should do is just make, you know, the full rotation all the way to the far post. Just like get on the goal line. And this is trusting. This is also like trusting your teammate, because Prodigy's kind of like not in a good position. Because I don't. Let me see what parking might see. Yeah, even if like finesse, I can understand panicking, but like, I think I would have enough reaction time to cover the ball if Prodigy misses. If it goes over, yeah. So parking doesn't even make the challenge here, and it's just kind of still moving. And the ball's coming down. So what really parking needs to be doing is just being in position in case Prodigy misses. Like there's actually no need to go up for this. And like doesn't even like try and like backflip cancel or anything. Just kind of boosts on out there. Like this is a super panic moment, but like there was kind of actually no need for it because it was kind of covered. So It's a good block. Corner of Doom. Okay. So that takes care of game one. Scorpions actually going to win game two. Ike kind of pops off. You know, they do look to be sort of in control of the series, but everything still kind of applies. So this is game three. Obviously, I said at the opening that there was a reverse sweep, so I'm not spoiling anything. So that's actually a really good infield pass play. So what changes here? This is so what actually don't I like here in this teaching moment? Okay. So this is a super risky rotation that Prodigy is doing. I'm not actually sure what I would have done. Okay. Okay. I think I've figured it out. So miss. Okay, that's fine. Actually, is this a cut? No, this is just kind of moving up. There's kind of like a miss bad touch. And just so yeah, go back, get that. No, that's good follow. Like finesse gets an okay touch. I think Prodigy just comes up. I don't know if comes up too quickly is the right term, because like you know that parking is technically the third at this point because they're getting boost and you're on the attack. I think it's the touch by finesse. I mean, I know this is kind of super close, so this is really hard to judge. Just kind of misses. Okay. So this is so the teaching moment is like, what should Prodigy have done? So I'm actually trying to figure it out. Like based on this, like I don't know if rotating through the corner boost is actually technically correct, because I could get in Finesse's way. Okay, so this is kind of like assuming I'm Prodigy. I'm making the decision. Okay, I just need to get off the wall and get like on the field surface as fast as possible. So Finesse is making the touch and Parking is coming up. Prodigy needs to GTFO. Like, there's just no two ways about it. Um, and here's why. In a vacuum, I like Parking's chance here. So, what can we gather like from this still? And this is where having a John Madden, you know, Telestrator would help. But here we are. Well, I count 5 cars on screen, and I see 2 blue cars out of the play. So, by process of elimination, there's 1 car off screen, probably in net. So Finesse is kind of serving this ball up to Parking. If I'm Prodigy, I'm not touching this ball. Parking is coming out. My actual thought process is I just need to get out. I will probably make a beeline to the middle of the field, and just grab that line of boost pads and then go from there. I would not even turn on the keeper. This is because more than likely the keeper's just going to move up. I would, if I'm going for a bump play, I actually wouldn't boost into him because a bump is as good as a demo. You just want to clear. If you're trying to clear the keeper out, you want to react as late as possible because you're not going to get the supersonic. And look, Tate's already by. So I probably actually wouldn't even try and put a hit on the keeper. I don't know if I would grab that pad in the middle of the field in front of the net, but I would just make a rotation, get to 36, and then go from there, and kind of put faith in Parking to beat the keeper 1-on-1, and not go through the demo. I don't know. This seemed like I missed. So this is why this is. I don't even know if I would have. This is kind of like you're suddenly priced into something because of what you did, but what you did was completely wrong. So why should Prodigy have just retreated back through the middle of the field? Well, the reason why Prodigy should have retreated back through the middle of the field is that the 3 is coming up to take the shot. You need to GTFO. You need to come back and cover defense. The 2's not landing, and your 3's going up. This is just, this is just really bad. And now, you also used boost. You used all your boost, and now suddenly, I'm assuming Parking said, I missed. So, kudos, you actually take a pretty decent line. But, I don't... Yeah. At this point, I would have... if I had done this, which is entirely possible, I also might be coming back with 100. I would just come in far post. Which obviously this would not have played out the way it did, perhaps. But again, this is... I have the weird confidence in my abilities to not be worried about Tate. And I would just be focused on Ike. I would be aware of Tate, but focused on Ike. Because if we move up, if Prodigy just does the thing that just gives the most time, you can suddenly take away the pass by making Tate come after you, and then it's just 1-on-1 with Ike. because like once Prodigy like signals that he's challenging here, like I can like theoretically like decide, okay, I can go near side or set up the pass. Near side for Ike. You know, kind of falls down or whatever thing, but like kind of gets a touch here and just kind of beats Prodigy, you know, and take Cod puts it away. But again, like this actually goes back to just like a decision to like not rotate out. And we basically had all three, you know, orange players basically in the corner. And it's the responsibility of someone to like start making tracks back. You know, I don't know what would have happened had they made tracks back. Like maybe they could have circled and challenged the ball. Again, dangerous as a 3, but they might have, you know, Prodigy might have had to play on the ball. After the miss. So, you know, it's really weird within that regard. It's not really a good hit, but, you know, I would have made any better. Oh, I remember seeing this. There's some style points here, but, like, this was... Okay. We'll go to parking first. Because I would love to see what they're seeing. So yeah, Wisely backs off because they don't have a play on the ball, but like, how do we improve this situation? I mean, I probably would challenge that. So, just like pro tip, anytime you go for the corner boost, like, again, assuming the situation warrants, like, this is all fine. Like, he should be boosting. So, like, let's go to Fox. Like, I mean, actually, Fox should be boosting more too. But, like, basically Fox is on this, like, quickly because you just basically always turn up field. There's a danger with, like, the old fast kickoff. Because if done incorrectly, that ball just flies out there on the kickoff. But, like, you know, generally speaking, like, this is what's going to happen if the ball's pushed to the side. So, also speaking, this is balls on the other side of the half. So, like, if all things equal, like, parking should be on that ball. And I think this is probably just a breakdown on how faceoffs are handled. But, like, because parking goes right, basically if that ball does not sit, like, within the circle, so this is no longer Prodigy's ball. And again, like, this is kind of like, this goes into all the decision making. Oh, that's a terrible nickname, Tate. Like, you're in C1. Well, you're playing in a league that classifies you as C1. You know, I'm in one that classifies me as at least C3, and, like, I'm D3 and 3s. Anyways, back to this. So again, this is like always why, like, this is kind of like just, you know, this is kind of like almost heuristic almost. Is that, because you could still peel off. And, like, you could still peel, and even at this level, you could peel off this and track this ball all the way in your net. You know. So, like, there's not much risks. Parking just needs to be doing like actually what Fox does, and that's boosting the ball. Because Parking will beat Fox's ball if they've done that already. Like just boosting and going up. Because that is Parking's ball. If the ball just kind of sputters out, that becomes Prodigy's ball. But like basically the minute where it's like it's coming out hard to the right side, for the most part, 75% of the balls Parking can play. So that's why you just, start boosting immediately after you grab the 100. Or, you time your flip to where, you're flat or whatever, so you're boosting because, that way, I don't know how I do it ideally. I guess, like I'm on the wall or something and I'm just like, I'm boosting and turning and doing all that. So, yeah. So that's just kind of like a face-off tip. Okay. So this is a hell of a catch. Good control. Good pop. Okay. Man, if I see this in ones, this is a goal. Yep. Yep, this is a goal. Full style points there. Okay. So now let's go. I don't think there's anything Fox could have contributed. Probably had a better hit, but it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know how Fox could have got back any faster. Like there's not really much you could do. Okay. So we'll go to Ike. So Ike is cheating up here. Okay, good move. Smart move. So, Prodigy at this point is kind of going for the boost. So that's good. Unlike what happened in game 1, Ike kind of peels off here, and that's okay. And Ike is probably going to turn upfield. That's okay, too. Probably the better thing to do for Fox is if you're not going to send it at net, which he sort of did, but it was kind of like a weak hit, is actually try and flip out and pass it in the middle for Ike. And then let Ike deal with the defense in a way. So, is this a free challenge? I don't know, but I don't know if I necessarily disagree with it. So Tate is somewhere behind you. Tate did take the face off. Okay. So this goes into the again next level shit. I don't actually mind Ike pushing up more like here and just kind of keep pushing. You can kind of push and coast. But I don't... I think there is kind of a challenge here. Yeah, I think you can be up more. So the reason why I think I can be up more is that if Parking misses this ball, you can be there. You're probably I don't know, probably at this point somewhere between like the middle, the middle of the field boost pad there at the circle and like the half line. Um, so like if Parking catches this, which is again it's a hell of a catch, you can kind of like turn it into a shadow defense, um, or challenge. The problem is now you've kind of like, it's in a way like you've kind of given up possession. So it's like trying to find that sweet spot between like putting pressure and not. And again, I think part of this actually has to go with the rank. But I think just like being pushed up just a little bit more, um, is fine. Because like, I think even if you don't know where the third is, like if Parking blasts this over your head, well, Tate is technically back. We'll get to Tate in a second because I think Tate really screwed up what he should have been doing. Yeah, so like I think if you push up, you might be able to force Parking into a bad hit too, rather than trying to catch the ball. Parking might have made a hit. I don't know, because I think again Parking kind of saw everything, in a way, although might not actually have seen Hike that far backed off. Oh yeah, totally sees. Oh yeah, I would try and catch this too. Yeah, I'm not being challenged. Yeah, like this is. Yeah, this is a great individual play. So yeah, I think if Ike was pushed up a little bit more, like the worst case scenario in that is Parking is forced to pop the ball up or like hit it high up. It's probably coming down off the ceiling. So like you have time that's bought. So like I think that's like the worst case scenario. If you were moved up, this just gives Parking so much time. And like again, this is a beautiful catch. And again, I think this is like a lot of things. I don't think this challenge is necessarily free. I probably would have made it. If I had done this, but the more I think about it, the more I think it's actually wrong. I just don't think it's I don't think this is correct. Yeah, I think ultimately I need to push up a little bit and just kind of like press the issue. Like I think that would have been best. So now this. Okay. We can go back to the face off. So that's a good win. Okay. So this is field awareness, and I think okay. So assuming I did all this, here's my snapshot. So Fox is going to 50 that ball. I know we say like Fox actually wins the ball, but Fox is going to win that ball because I can't really see what Parking is doing. Prodigy is either going to try and challenge that ball, which I think is delicious. Again, the snapshot, because if Fox wins it, that's good. So that will give Ike will give a chance if there's like a double commit there on there. So this is the way, if I had landed and everything, if I end up here, I know what I'm actually doing. I'm kind of going to be the 3 in this play at some point. but I probably need to get boost. So I'm going to do one of two things. I'm going to circle back and just try and get this midline here and then look at the half circle to refuel. So go to fly. Go to none. So I'm like going to make this route. So like be here, which is like going to leave me with maybe 12. And depending on the play, I'm either going to go like, you know, kind of like hit here, maybe be here. Or, you know, here, you know, look at that line. And then maybe go into like here or here, depending. That's line 1. Line 2 is if my team has this. I'm going back right. And the reason why is I can just like collect 100 and I can sort of like take my time and let the play develop. So for Tate, this needs to be like, and it's like he's sort of doing that. But so here's one of the problems is that like you briefly have this, and if you're paying attention to that, like if your mind doesn't pick that up, that's probably something that needs to be worked on. But like at this point, where's at the point where Fox like cleanly has the ball? Yeah, like right here. Just start looking around. Like ball cam off, right stick, whatever. Because Tate makes a beeline for 100 that's not there. And there's like a lot of clues. If comms are used, you know back left is not there. It shouldn't be there. Regardless, let's just say you're solo queuing. At this point, I would see that I have a teammate on left side using boost. Between like kind of like the movements we basically see there, and you know, the fact that boost is being used, like that's basically a line of someone that's taking 100. So that back left is not there. And like the problem is like, yeah, there's just like nothing. Like at this point, it's like Tate, like Fox is the ball, so let's just go hunt for boost. Like, even if Parking gets this ball, like peeling off, and going back here is not the worst idea. Like, just because like Finesse is gonna go grab this. You know, so just like it's just like all this is just like it's kind of like really, really bad. It is a really bad line to take. Like, you know, like you don't get that. Okay, so then go for this 12. But like you should also know that corner is not there. But it just avoids everything, and now ball cam is on while you're flipping. Like you've sort of don't have any control over your car. Like, sure, you can, like, flip, but I mean, it's like, yeah, like, you don't have anything. Like, you need to make sure, if you're going to take that 100, you can flip off ball cam real quick to make sure that it's there. Like, you shouldn't be, like, flipping and, again, I would just be saying, like, you flip and, like, oh, yeah, it's going to be there, but then it's not. And, like, you've also kind of, like, flipped, so it's like, you know, using the field awareness. So really, like, you know, the line that should be happening is grab this one, grab here, or turn up the field. Here, go get this. It's 48. Like, kind of based on that, that's probably actually what I would have taken. But, like, if you really need 100, like, this is your 100. You do have plenty of time to get. But, like, it's just like the way Tate is kind of flipping here, and I don't mean to pick on him, is like he's completely playing like this is there. And there's just like a lot of signs there that just say that 100 is not there. So really, like, based on what Tate's doing, the best line to actually take is like this, this, and this. If you want to get into play, that's 36. Otherwise, well, just start looking at like the half circle. So here, here, here. Or you need to make that cut when you were here and just go all the way back. Again, I would assume that Ike would be joining the play. Because like you know, like you should kind of be looking at the half circle and yeah, like, oh boy. Like, this is the hunt for hundies. That's all there is. Like, there's... So, here. Let's just get to... There's just like, oh crap, I have no boost. Okay, so the play is far enough away that you can start looking at the half circle. So, just go up the half circle. Like, go up the half circle. You know, you can kind of coast, let the play develop. But this is like an attempted wave dash. Like, that grabs 12. Like, I would, you know, you could still make a cut across and have 24. The reason being is that you have so much time for this play to develop that at the very least you'll have 24. But, like, yeah. Like, I don't know what Ike's going to do, but, like, I have plenty of time to get 24 to 36. Like, I might even get the top of the half circle. So if, like, boost is the priority, like, that 100 isn't necessarily on the table. Because the reason why is you need to see what Ike's going to do. And I have confidence in my abilities, but I don't think I have confidence, like, especially how this plays out. Like, you know, you kind of need to be looking at, like, this is all to, like, get boost, but, like, what's the plan now? And now we've boosted, we've just used our 12. So, again, like, we've used the 12. And it looks like, again, like, I know we've kind of reviewed this, but, like, Ike's going upfield. Like, Ike's made motion, like, again, if I solo queuing, like, I'm probably going to expect my teammate to challenge this. Maybe thinking it's, like, it's sort of a free challenge because I have someone back. So here's what I would have expected on that. I would have probably made the challenge because I would expect my teammate to have gone back and gotten the back right. Again, if... where's Ike start? Like, I feel like this is a called start. So, like, if I was Ike, I might have made this, like, I can challenge and put some pressure on here, because like if this ball goes right, my teammates got it because they went back and got the 100. You know, so like it's technically free, so the ball's just like gonna go right. If it comes up the middle, like it's a little bit hairier, but like they have the speed. Obviously, that's not what happened, and like I think this is totally, this is like sort of like a boost over ball, and like I hate to read too much into this, but it's almost like a disrespect to the opponent. Like great, like we've seen that the 100 is there, but like this, I'm not thinking about boost. Like again, let's get to this. Yeah, this is at this point like I don't know if like starting at the pad and like going to challenge would have necessarily worked out. So like taking that line of 36. So front of the net, upper right circle, right defensive midfield. If that was correct, but like if it's me here, I'm not thinking 100. Like, and yeah, like, there's, yeah. Like, I know that none of this would happen in ones, but like, the minute Parking catches that ball second time and sees Tate going, like, to the side, it's like, this is a goal. It's you know, it's a cousin in ones to like that ball bouncing in midfield and your opponent goes and grabs a boost when the ball's in their zone. You're like, oh, okay, I can go up and just like hit this towards the net. This is the cousin of that. It's like, you can't be thinking about hundreds. You got to be thinking about how am I going to save this ball with what I got. I might have 12. I might have 24. I might have none. But like, you know, the point you need to stop thinking about, should I go for that at 100, is probably a little bit before here on the challenge. Because again, you need to think about what happens if Ike doesn't touch this ball. You are the 3, so you need to be thinking about that. It's just, you know, trying to offload that into the subconscious, you know, make that, you know, muscle memory, you know, memory, whatever. So all these are the caveats with I understand, you know, this is essentially C1, C2. But I think it's just, you know, there's a lot of stuff in here that you can't do in training. Man. I'm kind of feeling like this should have been something, but okay, so like Finesse was kind of playing like a hit out. It's fine. So anyways, just on like decision making, like you know, the more you get in these situations and experience them, the more it just like kind of becomes offloaded eventually. Which like helps because you aren't like, you know, I do say like sometimes it's you know, taking like whatever tenths of a second to think about something, but also it's just like when you can get that offloaded and just like, you know, that should have been a goal. and just like have that become like more automatic. It allows you to focus on other things like, car control, lining your car up, devoting your mental energy to that. So, and this is stuff you just like can't necessarily do in free play because you don't have anybody on the pitch there. That's just kind of a mistouch. Those will get corrected. I love that. It's the right idea. I don't know what I could have done better. Probably just need to deliver that with more power. A little reckless there. So, I watched the broadcast starting in late game 1. And somewhere here in game 3, I'm like, it looks like orange, Quantum. Look like they've kind of settled in. So I just made that, observation to myself, which, doesn't do anyone good, but like, okay, so that's a banger of a hit. It just looks like Quantum was playing a little bit more, I don't know, I'd probably just say cleaner. Okay, so okay, so the teaching moment. What is the actual teaching moment here? Who's on the wall? Is it Prodigy? Okay. Okay, so I don't like mine Prodigy's positioning there. It's just kind of like a wait and see, just in case something happens. It's like actually not that bad. So going to chases, not bad at all. Yeah, probably wouldn't have got there first, so I don't mind the wait and see. There might have been a challenge there. Okay, this is actually kind of... This is... This feels like an attempt to block. I mean, it does feel like an intercept, but it just like plays out like it's a block. Prodigy may have just been better up just trying to boost and try and, hit it on the back wall. Don't know. So now I want to see the teammates. Okay, that's fine by Parking. It's not the greatest, but like fine. All right, so Parking just again needs to be coming in here near side, like. Here's why. Okay, it comes off the wall. Okay, so for Parking needs to recognize that they're going to be the 3. I don't mind the boost here. 33 is fine here. 33 is fine. Like, also 33 is super fine here because what's Tate going to do here? Well, I know what happens, but it's like what Tate's going to do here. Like, if this comes into the corner, you're just going to collect it and just send it somewhere. Like, like you could come in and everything will be fine. Like, this is to get, like, more boost, but, like Parking kind of gets caught watching this ball after. It's like what you just need to do here is after you take this pad is just cut to the far post and just wait. Let the play develop. Because if it's like going to be a bang off the side wall, if it comes in through the corner and rolls, like you just deal with it, which is easy to do from the far post. If it's a bang off the wall, then you just like attack the ball. But like, who's getting this ball right now? Like that needs to be like launched and come back off the back wall at a high rate. Like this is like Prodigy's totally getting it. You know, and like this cut in here, but then it's just like, okay, I'm going to turn in. And it just like comes off the wall. Like, Parking's like in no place to defend this. Like, and again, that's just like, you know, that's why Rail gets this, is just like making the smart rotation. And like, it started off fine, but prioritizing boost, you know, like, Parking totally could have gotten that ball. Or saved it or whatever. Cut down the angle too. But I just think like after grabbing the boost pad to get to 33 took a bad line. And then like finesse is, I don't mind that challenge. I don't mind any of this. Yeah, like finesse is acquitted on this. Like I would kind of actually be super mad because that's Parking's ball, so I'm not gonna double commit. Not because also like finesse can't even get close to it. Finesse can't get it if it's like thrown at the, you know, at their side of the net. So. See, and also in a way, Prodigy's miss would freeze Parking too, but so I think I said that always go for the ball earlier. So aside from that, okay. So Tate. So for defensive rotation, Tate, do not. You can think about the 100, but like. So based on everything here, like I don't think you can get there. So I would just be making a cut. You know, probably aiming for one to the half circle boost pad. So either, you know, mid right, which you're clearly aimed at, or top right. Just depending on the situation, whatever would call for it. But I would not be trying for this 100. I would just be trying to get back to far post. And I would be really expending too much boost to even do it because, like, Ike and Fox are going to be here. Instead, turns and waste some boosts. So, like if you're gonna cut in here, you need to just like basically commit to like a rotating on the wall by the near post, or you need to commit to like basically not doing this and doing just a clean far post rotation, and not expending boost. Like this is just a bad use of boost. And then this is just like totally like, again, just prioritizing boost over ball. But but like, this is a case of making some like really bad decisions and then furthering them with some really bad decisions. Because like even then you're still signaling that you're rotating back. So like you need to be on far post for the play. And it doesn't matter like what your boost level is. Like the balls, I don't even think I would have gone for 100 there. I would have like again it goes back to here I would have just been straight up far post rotating. So okay, so for Ike. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's like so yeah, like yeah, I don't think Ike did anything wrong here. Um Side flip when dodging demos like that, just side flip away. In the opposite direction of your opponent. So if they're coming on like your right side, flip to the left, that sort of thing. But I mean, it was still like a good dodge if you just want to get the 100% dodge. Yeah, so I don't think Ike did anything wrong there. Okay. So Fox comes back, like line, perfect. Like this isn't the worst. Okay, that's kind of bad. If you're going to do that, Fox, just when you're coming in at this far post boost, just stay on the goal line. So you just come in, like you're kind of making like the turn to come in. But yeah, just kind of get this, just hug that line, really. And then you go from there. Because like I would be saying is that so the reason why is that you just come in here and like you sort of like cut down angles, and there's a difference between where you're at and like being on like basically the goal line. You'd probably be, I don't know where the boost meter is right now, but like you'd be coming in and still like have a lot of coverage. And I would trust in your teammates. Like part of it is like has to hit this ball. So like that's the requirement. And you just have to trust your teammates, and sometimes you just have to let them fail. So like the way you're getting out of this situation and into whatever the next defensive situation is like just kind of pushes the ball wherever, and then you make the reevaluation. So you just kind of coast in far post. Because then like you can kind of push up, you'd kind of be pushed up like to the mid, and you might actually like through force of nature, like because you're kind of like challenging this ball and you really can't. Yeah, like this is also like guessing what the opponent's going to do. But like in a way you kind of left like the net wide open. I might have tried to defend that. But like I think if you had just like kind of come in and just like stayed here, maybe been angled like here on the goal line like this, like you could have sat and just like tricked them into doing something. So yeah. Good news is we might keep this under 3 hours. The bad news is it might go over 3 hours. I don't mind that at all. That probably, though, should be a call out, FYI. So, like, back pass. And that does kind of get in position, like, to defend as well, so. But that's just, like, something that probably should be called out. Because it's hard for Ike to react on that. If I explain the 3. There's probably not much to break down here. Oh, it looks like Tate was going for a pinch here. I probably would just stayed with it with no boost. And I think there's ones will start having that effect. This is probably going to tell me everything I need to know on the goal. So. Yeah. So. Down in distance. So, like, this kind of starts okay. First, far post, Ike needs to be close to the goal line. I don't actually mind, like, being stopped here either. I would probably, I'd still be on the goal line. I would probably be a little bit, like, off the post, east-west. But I would be under the assumption whether Fox wins this challenge or not, Fox is challenging this ball. Yeah. And kind of like what Ike does here is take themselves out of the play. Like, just stay put. Like, just stay put. Like, so, why am I advocating for staying put? I don't want to pick on Ike or be overly harsh here, but like the way this plays out, like you're fine here to make you pull up. Like that means I did say trust your teammate, but if your teammate's going to hit that ball, you need to be rushing downfield. Like you know it's. You still have a better opportunity to read and figure out where the ball's going. You know, if you're basically sitting there far post side, but you know, east west, just kind of like, you know, inside, you know, like this is, I don't know, like right here where the camera controls are. It's like somewhere like right here. And like you could just be, you know, facing. You know, let's see if I can get there. So like, you know, you're like somewhere like right here. You're kind of like, you might be actually like positioned like this. Just so that your lateral movement, like you can even be like this. Like, you know, and then just like, you know, you move like that or whatever with the play. But see, like being where you're at, like you have no chance on this ball, because you're just so far out of position. Like that's the thing. Like this is sort of like if you're trusting Fox to hit it, that's good. But like, you know, you're also kind of like the 3 in this situation because Tate's down or Tate's up, Tate's there. So it's kind of like recognizing, you know, where you are in the rotation and all that. Because, like, yeah, like, Parking gets it over Fox and gets a second touch. And just kind of gets it over. And, like, again, like here, you may not have been able to get... Wow. I love how that rotates. Let's see if we can get that as our image. Like here, you have a better chance here moving laterally because you probably would just like creep up to here versus like being here and then, you know, jumping backwards. So, you know, it's just about playing the percentages. Okay, so Discord's going crazy, so let's see if we can get through the rest of this game. This is game 3. I have only gotten through 2 games. I am on pace. Yeah, that right idea there, just not enough power. The desperation. So I do want to like I actually do like want to call this out as like good. So Fox did not get involved with this madness, and that's great because like yeah, you need a goal, but like if your teammates are there, like you just need to be there. And like again, teammate times in solo queuing, it's just like now all 3 of us are there, and like probably that 7 there has a big influence. But like, just stay back. You know, like you're not going to contribute anything to that situation again, which what Fox did. You know, and let the play develop. So yeah. Okay. So now. Okay, I can come back and get this. There's been some there's actually been some like huge play breakdowns and just like getting through everything, you know, given the up too close speech, explaining the rule of gravity, why you should far post rotate. Actually, you know what? We probably, again, you guys might not have, you guys probably haven't, you might not have heard it or fully heard it, but we'll just cover it right here because it needs to be covered. That's kind of like actually changed the way I played. So, attacking. Because it actually came up on a goal that quantum landed in game 1 that kind of drove me nuts. And there was a lot of bad things, but I said I'll put it off to later. And since you're here, this is a good time. So I kind of threw it away as like the triangle. And I've been trying to beat myself into this. So again, this is a general thing. So triangle on offense, let's just say you're on offense. So the 1 is like here with the ball. The 2 is like here, doesn't cross mid. And the 3 is like anywhere from mid to here, depending on like what the play warrants. 1, 2, 3. So the reason why this guy is actually pushed up is that basically a lot of the time, ball's coming through here, ball's coming off through. Like basically the only bad time that for anyone like playing the 2 here is if you're like passing it off like directly off the sidewall and the ball comes out. So here's why. At the lower ranks, what happens is you have 1, 2, and, we'll just say 3. And this drives me nuts. Here's why 1, 2 doesn't work. 1 is going to pass the ball off the sidewall. Where's the 2 at? Well, here comes the 2, and they're going to make some sort of bad crossbody shot that doesn't have a big chance of going in. They could put it in, but a lot of people miss those shots, including me, and I hate taking those shots. So this person's actually in better position to take this shot because, like, they can sort of peel off, even maybe come from here. So then they have this, and they have this, or they have the top of that, or the bottom of that. And they're hitting it with the front of the car, rather than the side of the car, or flipping into it and hitting it with the top of their car. So that's just the general, and it's probably explained out there. And then for rotation, it's the one just needs to figure out which way the play is going. So if the play goes over there, just get out through here. So, and then then they could circle around. Like this guy steps up and becomes the 2. This guy just has to rotate and just it's a long rotation, but that's it. And also, when you're on the attack, for God's sake, you don't have to go back for these. Look at these lines. So 1, no boost deal. Okay. Here, here, here. Or here, here, here. 36. Turn. Support the play. You could do a lot with 36. You can get here and you can get 48. And you could probably almost reach the ceiling. And you just need 1 more pad. Sustain pressure with a couple of boost deals and you'll drain your team, your opponent's dry. And you always got these. But don't avoid going back for hundreds. And I probably do it way too often myself. All right, anyways, let's get into game 4. So it's 2-1 this point, Scorpions. I know I've already said what the end result is going to be. And we could tell here by the bar, but so I don't mind that challenge. I don't know about challenging backwards like that. I really hate that because there's not a lot of good that can come out of it. It's a good block. Also, the challenge heuristic is... Okay, I remember that. The challenge heuristic is always try and force them to the outside. Just buys more time. So I don't think I have... This is just probably going to straight up be a miss. Okay. So last 10 seconds. There's a bump. Take gets out. So just FYI, Tate, you probably could have flipped out to here and just flipped. So just a recommendation. So Ike challenges and misses. I don't have a problem with this, and Ike's actually getting back. Okay. Okay, so what happens? I mean, I think I know what happens. Hmm. Okay, I want to see what Fox sees. Okay, so like Fox, like this is actually pretty good 3. Like again, like we have a violation of the triangle, but like whatever. It, like it is what it is. Okay, so okay. So I don't mind like waiting to see what happens. Maybe a little too close, but whatever. Okay. So the advice for Fox. So like this is I don't know, the 4th cousin to playing the ball off the back wall. This is great in training. In fact, everyone is the number 1 player in the world when there is no one else on the pitch but them. Unfortunately, that rule easily gets shattered when you click casual, ranked, extra modes, whatever, limited time modes, all that. So how can we help Fox here? So, like, unfortunately, the minute Fox turns on this, like, I think ball cam has to be on. The reason why ball cam has to be on is so, again, not seeing it, but like at some point in there, like you kind of have to pick up. You have to pick up parking in your basically peripheral vision. It's either like you need to do one of two things. Either you need to just basically rush your butt back to net, or do some sort of challenge. And you probably need. I don't know if you can get it here because of the second touch, but like you need to be doing something to block this ball. I think it's either that it's based on like kind of what happened. So I'm going with block. Otherwise, I'd just probably be beelining for the net and just like making my opponent make a bad hit because I'm pretty sure I can save it. It's either that or it's just like you have to get up in the air. I think part of that is just like recognizing as the 3. Discord, what do you say now? Oh. What's that? Okay. So again, it's the reason why just like doing this is so bad is just like you don't have the time to do this. There's just going to be someone coming. I mean, again, there could be a player falling up from the ceiling trying to get that or whatever. So I just think like trying to play and catch this, while like it sounds good in theory, it just like it doesn't really work. And it's the same thing with like reading off the backboard. Like you just like yeah, and then the next thing you know, it's in the back of your net because your opponent's up. And that's like why I say is just like people just sort of whoops, I need to turn this back on. People just sort of just end up like staring at the ball, thinking they have all the time in the world, and you really don't. And this is kind of like one of those situations. So it's like either get up for the ball or just get back to net and let the ball come to you. Good save. And obviously, like, again, with all this, do as I say and as I do, and it will take time. Like, yeah, that's sort of like, it's a weird cut. So again, like, just this right here is the sibling to being in too close. And it's a more awkward situation because it's coming off the sidewall rather than the back wall. So you're like, well, you know, I can sort of pull out, but like, you know, because it's, you don't necessarily think of just like getting more distance east west. That just, it's weird because you think that you just don't think about pulling, you know, backing off and giving room east west as a thing. It's always north south, you know, the goal. So like, again, I understand this happening. Tate, don't beat yourself up over this. I like here, like, you know, in a way, like Tate's gonna hit this. Like, I understand. Probably I would try to, like, well, I mean, actually, like, I might have tried to bang out of the corner, but, like, I don't know. Let's slow this down. Like, okay, so Fox misses. Tate air rolls it. Actually, it lands, and I mean, I would just say comms, but that feels like Tate's ball. As weird as it is, it's and so we can. So yeah, this is also like obviously a quarter speed Tate. So I am actually going to say why it's your ball. The reason why it's your ball, and I don't know if I would have done the same thing as Fox did, but kind of the reason why it's your ball is because you're facing forward more. So Fox has to kind of cut in on this. So, like, I don't even know if, like, comms can technically sort this out because this feels like very bang bang. But, you know, like, this is technically your ball because of the angle you have and basically, like, what you can do with your front end with the ball on that. But this is totally like super diving into the replay, and like I'm not even sure like yeah, like I don't know how you can determine that at like that game speed. You know, it's like you both just made like a decision. You know, so like actually like how does Fox land? So I miss. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that one. So the follow up to that. Okay, this is super dangerous. This is So, like, I don't necessarily, like... How could Fox have rotated better? I think... So, I think this is just trying to be, like... Yeah. So, I don't necessarily mind a cut to the right here. Okay, let's... Okay, so you got two there. Okay, so there, again, if there's a brief moment, so, like, here. I don't necessarily mind a cut to the right either, but, like, I think... So Orange doesn't really necessarily have a play on the ball at this moment. It's kind of like just be heads up. I think at this point it's probably just like cut to the right and, you know, take that boost pad line. Because, like, the problem... Let's... Yeah, like... This is a like, you need to swing left. It's like be left around finesse, or you know, it is a cut through the play, but swing right. Because Ike's defending here. You know, Tequila. So you just like you. This just has like they're just. You're not really defending. You like Fox is just like not defending here. Like so, like I think you just sort of like have to get right. You have to get ready to defend, but like you can't be in the play because this is like one of the worst outcomes. Fortunately, it doesn't go in the net, but it's really really bad. And it's like again like. Wow. Okay. There's a lot to unpack here from both ends. So let's get to here. All right. Okay, so like the teaching moment, because I'm picking on the opponents now, is someone in Orange better be calling this ball off, and I don't think it's finesses. Again, that has to do with like crossbody shots. So like there needs to be comms because I'm pretty sure. God, I'm pretty sure that. Yeah, like Prodigy needs to be calling off finesse here. Oh. That's so bad. That's so bad. Okay. So there has to be cons here from Orange. Like, I I don't know. I actually don't know what Finesse is doing here. Because it's like, just, like, I assume Finesse is playing like the 0.001% where the ball just magically teleports right into his car and, like, bounces off of it and goes straight in the net. I literally cannot figure this out because this is just like this is the and this may be like C1 C2, but Finesse is like really like way up too close here. So like on the orange side, like this actually feels like a con breakdown, um, because really like if Finesse called for this ball, this is fine, but like the reality of this is like this is Prodigy's ball. Yeah, yeah. For the record, I gotta remember to start doing it. It happens all the time in C1. Like Finesse is just like playing like this ball's just gonna come straight out, and a lot of time it actually doesn't. Like rolls up or whatever, and like that's just the way it is. But Prodigy needs to be slowing the F down, for one. But is like totally like I'm gonna hit the ball, hit the ball, hit the ball, hit the ball. I'm not interested in that ball. Like Prodigy's more interested in the boost deal. So okay, so like this is like next level attacking, which is really not all that next level attacking. Like in a way, like Orange bunches up here. But like that's just because of like what Prodigy does. So like Prodigy needs to like slow down a little bit, just kind of like let this develop. Also does not need to boost in the play. But like now is bunched up with Finesse again. So like there's oh, I hate this so much. It drives me crazy. So, you know, here's the triangle in action. So, parking, again, this is Champ Wood, so I understand. DGA half about the triangle. Like, the rotation and recovery is okay, but like... Oh, this drives me crazy. Like, this really should not have been... This should not have been Parking's ball to begin with. It's just that his teammates were acting like doofy. Coming in, you know, they're like offensive linemen running for touchdowns. Instead of like blocking for their running back or whatever. Like it's just like it's a really bad offensive play, and like you could see it in the replay. Like this is a clear cut chance. Like there's really no need to be like doing anything. Like it's just it. It's like look at this. Like, this ball comes out, that net is open. Like, okay, Fox is going to rotate. But, like, Prodigy should be calling for the ball and not, like, rushing in. Like, Finesse needs to be taking their time, too. And like, I mean, like, no one goes, like, no one is even thinking about going for it here. Like, here's your defenders. Like, Ike's after recovery. Yeah. Yeah, that's really, really bad. Like, that's an opportunity that Orange just threw away. It's like now Parking's got to come in here and like try and attempt that hitting the ball, flying in right and flying in left and trying to hit right. So there's a half cross body, and like, yeah. So anyways, to yell at Fox some more, like just cut right, because you need to like Ike's on defense. Like you have 0% of doing anything here, and you kind of got luckily bailed out, and then just come in through here, here, sit. I am happy. By the way, though, regardless of what happened, I am happy seeing this. If I'm blue, I don't like the positioning, but like I like my chance of like saving whatever Parking does. Like, but I would have been much there on the line. And Fox had like would have like 45 or something like that saying on far post, and Tate would have coming in for 100. So again, just like far post rotate. So nice clear, decent clear. It's a good clear attempt there from Fox. That was a weird goal. What happened? Probably got boost starved among other things. Well, there's two up. Okay. Fox up. Doesn't necessarily get the clear. Okay. It's a rotation. It's shocking. A lot of things can be boiled down to just stuff that you aren't used to doing. Okay. So we'll back this up. First we'll look at Tate. So like challenge there. Yeah, like Tate's coming in. Yeah, okay. So like, yeah, I don't know how Tate's supposed to save that after that. Like, so that's actually good. Tequila Ike should go behind Fox, right? Probably. I think we've already covered this before. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay, so there's a challenge. Okay. Okay, so there. Good on Fox. So, in a way, this is kind of like a really risky 100 steal, but like, I don't necessarily mind it because it's far side. But Fox does like turn in. I would not be like thinking about turning towards the play. I would just be trying to get back to net here. You know, and then like once the challenge is made, then you can rethink everything. So like Fox Fox may have been like kind of like slightly further off screen and could make a better angle on this. That's like fine. The touch is kind of a little weak, but whatever. And I don't mind Fox pulling off here. Because there's a problem with pulling out. Like I would have turned around too. I mean, theoretically, Fox can continue the challenge, but if I saw Ike there, I would have like started making new plans. It's how I work in solo queue. Even if you're not where you're supposed to be, my teammates are going to have to make me work to actually force me into a double commit. And a lot of times it's my teammates are where they're not supposed to be. So, like, Fox probably could have continued on this ball. Yeah, probably should have continued on the ball, to be honest. But I can understand, like, turning off. If Fox knows where everyone's at, then this is fine. But probably should just stay on the wall. Actually, in this situation, Fox should go above the crossbar and just stay on the back wall. So, if Fox knows where Tate's at, then Fox should be just go above the crossbar. You can always fall down and get into position or do whatever. Okay, so again, like, man. All right, so Tequila's kind of swinging off here. No, no. So, Tate, I know you're watching, and I know I said this early in the video, but it's again applies. I think the time for cherry picking is if you're past the half line, that ball isn't coming to you. You just need to get back. So let's follow this. So roughly, Ike does know that Fox is somewhere behind him and obviously knows where Tate is. But just should not be turning up the field. Again, it's the same situation as earlier. There's like, no matter how weird Orange has been or you think they're going to be, like, in a way I've always said, like, you know, sometimes this is a free challenge. This is not a free challenge for Tate because this is in the defensive zone. It becomes a little bit more free if, like, you know, this is their, you know, Scorpions are attacking because you might draw two defenders up, but drawing two attackers up necessarily doesn't make it free because, you know, it's dangerous, especially like kind of how things are sort of playing out. So I do like kind of like whatever conservative challenge Tate has because there's like 10,000 situations that could go wrong. So Ike needs to get back. So Ike instead turns anticipating Tate hit the ball. It does have a blue trail, but it's going backwards. Tate should have already just been heading back. Just be safe. It's 1-0 and there's 3:30 left. Like, just rotate back. I like, again, starts to rotate back, but doesn't. And like, again, like sort of at this point, like, you know where Tate is roughly. Tate is not on screen at this point. So Tate, and the last thing you saw that Tate was driving, like, you know, to the wall, and there's no boost there, or could be getting a boost, but like, again, this is the case for swinging in. Like, you just There's no one cover. There is no one covering net. You're not in a panic situation. There's no need to take any strange risks. So like instead, like moves up and covers a play. Like, and again, like just commit to it. If you're committing to it, just go ahead and commit to it. Like, because this is like, oh shit, I can't get to it. And it's, when you look at how this plays out, it's like, now you're heading back, surprise Pikachu face. When you actually could have been back the entire time. And then like, if Ike was back, I mean, honestly, if like Ike had rotated back, like could be here, well positioned, and Tate could try and come in far post, and you would be fine. Instead, like there is no one covering this net. And it's just like before. So like what happens? Well, Tate like makes far post rotation. Tate's not gonna go for his ball. Like this is a bad challenge, but I would not. Tate doesn't go up, and this is correct for Tate to do this. Because also I do want to check what Tate sees coming in. Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know how Tate is supposed to save this ball. Like it's so bad. Like Tate doesn't actually have a really good chance. So, like again, and that's basically in a way like this is the importance of rotation because Tequila Ike. I'm just gonna call Ike because that's what's on screen. Ike could have actually challenged that ball from near post because if he'd come in earlier, just rotated in, like could have probably actually then started the challenge actually, because if Tate's coming back, you can be like, well, I know Tate's coming back, and I could challenge the ball and actually get up, and you're actually challenged forward and approaching your opponent, and you just get like. It's basically cutting down the angle, and your opponent just has less to do with the ball, whereas you're challenging backwards and like they get some sort of weird dunk. So again, it's the importance of rotation. I saw that on there, and I'm like, I remember that from the broadcast. I'm like, woo, that was bad. So again, this is the stuff that'll help you survive at not only this level, but at the next level. So, do we actually get to see the gravity roll in effect? Yeah, like it's close. Like I understand Ike turning here. It's pretty close to a gravity roll, but I think like Ike has to hit that ball. Like I understand cutting rotation, and I actually sort of agree with it because you look back and saw Fox was back. So it's like, okay, I need to become the 2. I haven't decided whether or not I agree going for the ball, but like if you go for the ball, like you have to hit it. So that's just the advice. Okay, so good steer aside. Just the advice for Tate there. If you see it, just until you get called off, just let your teammate follow through on that. Drives me crazy in solo queue. It's like you literally got passed by your. It's like you got passed by your teammate through the corner, and then you go chase after the ball. Just wait till your teammates done. So like now here Tate can go for the ball. Which sort of does. And yeah, I probably would have done that. Just kind of a miss slash fake, but that's okay. Like, Scorpions bunched up there too, but it's fine. Like, that's keeping the play alive. That's fine. There's not urgency yet. But it's just like, you gotta just keep in mind, like, now it's time to be a little bit more aggressive. JFC Tate. I mean, like, let's just kind of watch that. Okay, so you know all this bullshit I say about, you know, challenging backwards? Well, this is where you break the rule. This is where you break the rule. Like, look at this. And again, like I say, like, this is the time to be, like, aggressive and stuff, and this is, like, everything here. Like, so Tate centers it, like, yeah, whatever. So, like, you know, comes down, gets the boost deal. Like, that ball's coming in hot. I totally agree with this. Like, I can't tell exactly where Ike is on the field, but, like, I'm pretty sure Ike's not going to get to the ball. So, like, again, let's. So, also stuff to pick up on. So, take a look at orange right now. So, Parking's on far post, but there's basically two orange players bunched up. Parking comes out. Parking should not be coming out. So, let's wait till the boost deal. Look where all the orange players are. Like again, like there's times of like knowing when to break the rules. I don't even call like this is a broken rule. This is just like not even making something happen. Like this is just like recognizing like really I'm the only one on blue that has a chance at this ball. And like Fox has kind of actually like served it up. And I totally agree. I would totally agree going for this ball at 4:55 in the match. Like there's you know, this is just like this is literally a free chance at the ball. And if like Tate misses it, fine, whatever. It's like actually kind of a difficult shot here. You know, it's all about getting your car lined up, redirect, hitting it, and just like doing all that shit. So like this is you know some degree of difficulty. I'm not even going to try and guess on the scale, but also like Tate's probably going to be the first one to this ball too. So why not go for it? Like the danger is this ball could be on net. And if Tate messes it up, I don't think this ball's on net though. If the ball's on net, this becomes an unforgiven redirect. But I don't think this ball's on net. And like really, and this is still like a very favorable situation for Tate. And like Tate actually like does some, you know, some good correction here. Yeah, I don't think it's on net here. So this is like good timing and everything. Like you kind of do need to rush a little bit to the ball. The other is to kind of move out a little bit. That's just kind of like nitpicking here. But I don't know, like trying to set up for a slightly better angle in the moment overrides free ball. So yeah. But like the jump is timed. Like Like, that's just like perfect top shelf redirect. And no toxic gold explosion either. So, yeah. Like that's just like chef's kiss right there. And I see the tick mark too. So again, that's when you break all the rules and go backwards, but it's not like even breaking a rule. So just again pointing out, if you see your teammate coming in from the side like Fox is in Ike's case, just make sure you swing around them. This is just their ball because they have the better ankle. So I think this is just like C1, not doing a triangle and playing like, I don't know, the hockey stick or the straight line, trying to keep your team in a straight line while consuming much of the field as possible. In a way, it sort of does cut down on your teammates' stuff. Because it does like force them to keep it closer with a lighter touch, which again did sort of happen here, and like Ike is completely observing the gravity rule. I don't like going up for that. I can understand jumping, but like, yeah, there's like two up. I don't mind fake jumping there and just getting back to ground. So just jumping up, no boost, landing. And like playing, but like, no, it's sort of out of the play empty. So. And that messed up Orwiggle. I'll tell you that. So like, here's why. Like this. I mean, I have to see, right? Yeah, I hate it. This looks like an attempt to try and roll it back to Tate. I just hate it just because again, this is experience just talking at this point. I've just seen this go wrong so many times that you're just better off leaving it. So like, and I actually don't know if like that. I'm trying to see who gets to the ball first. So I don't know if Finesse would still end up skying the ball, but you know. That's off the backboard. It's like, man, they need to get this ball out. So column A, column B. Let's look at defense real quick. We need a vacuum, like, takes your challenge, but like, you kind of got to stay in place because of Prodigy, so like that's fine. So it gets cleared. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, that's just, like, the result of a challenge, so... So Fox needs to stay back here. And, like... Okay. It's weird. Okay, so Fox actually needs to stay back. Stay on the far post. So this is easily explained. You can see 1, 2, 3. Ike's the 1. You know, can't necessarily see what he's doing in this snapshot. Tate's the 2. Fox is the 3. Stay on far post. Like, don't rush. Like, I have this has all the makings of like Fox tracking the ball. Yeah, and like so like so again, 1, 2, 3. So Fox should not be pushing up on this. And I don't care like what unless Tate says, I'm getting the corner, I'm gonna come back. That's basically the only reason why Fox needs to pull up. So like if that's sort of what happened on comms, then it's kind of like everybody needs to stick with it. But approaching in the vacuum, Fox just needs to play 3. The reason why is I'm assuming under this scenario that Tate is going to somewhat kind of just like, I say middle, but middle the challenge or the hit or whatever, and just be in a position to try and cover a successful like challenge or I loses a challenge. So that's why. Yes, I know you're down by 1. You need to be aggressive. But, like, based on where everybody's at, there's no need to be aggressive here because where you going to push up into? And, like, that ball's also going left. So, like, again, like, I can understand if, like, Fox grabs this boost or whatever. But really, Fox just needs to sit back down on the post and move into position based on, like, how the teammates are going. So, like, tries to grab the mid, nothing happens, whatever. But then it's like, yeah, like just all this is just like really, really weird. Like, and again, this is like something that seems fine in a vacuum, but like, if Fox just stays put, Fox can challenge this all day. And the reason why is Tate's on your left. Like, so really, like, Tate's there, and now Tate's like, kind of middling this ball, just trying to figure out what's happening. But it's still technically like Tate should be covering, regardless of boost level. Maybe up a little bit more, I don't know. But like, here's ultimately the thing. If Tate goes up and charges this, like, we'll just say like right here. Somewhere in here. Tate's like in the air somewhere here. Let the passage of time happen. Where is everyone? Well, Fox is sitting back here. We got an orange dude over here. We got an orange dude over here. We got an orange dude probably, based on what I've seen this game, is not going to be on the right. Like, Tate's probably just going to put this ball to the right. Granted, it's not really the best, but it is in open space. Leaves either I have to go chase it down, or Fox and Tate can go on a charge, and I can circle around and do the 3. But see, like, Tate sort of moves up. And I don't think, like, Tate... I'm pretty sure Tate stays down when he sees Fox up. So, I mean, like, based on how it played out, yeah, Tate looks like he's actually getting ready for a challenge and probably got called off. Or, heard or saw Fox. Heard feels like the best. So, like, this is like weird when you think about it, because it's like, well, Fox is charging right at him. But, like, really, Tate should be able to make a play on that. And that's a case where it's like, if Fox is sitting, we'll just say, in net, being the keeper, can play the second chance. But really, that should be Tate's challenge, based on how everything went. And like, this kind of falls into the edge, the edge cases or whatever, where it's just like, because even if like Fox wins that ball, like that ball is pushed back to the left side, there's still 2 orange players that can get it. Like, Ike's coming back near side through the ball too. So like, if Tate wins the ball, there's theoretically an open chance. Finesse can totally get the ball. That is one outcome, but like, it does put the ball in space, and like on the follow through, like, there are like 2 blue players taking on 1 orange player, because like, based on just like a few seconds earlier, like, there are 2 orange players technically that are going to be out of the play after the hit. So, but parking gets there in time. Like, Tate obviously doesn't have a chance there, just based on kind of what happened. And now we're in panic mode. Good place to miss. I need to see them run a play on this again, because this baffled the shit out of me. Like, that's not bad clear. Yeah, see, shockingly, it starts with rotation. Like, So this is a down and distance situation for orange. Like that's a decent rotation. Barking should be in no way blasting up the field for this ball. Like this is just like it really is a down and distance. Like why are you going upfield for this ball? Like there's your teammate's not going to get it, and there's a lot of blue players there, and like still keeps like just kept pushing forward. So, like, and I don't necessarily mind finesse cutting the rotation to hit the ball. They got a really bad hit, to be fair, but like. Like that's a fine pass out. Yeah, I don't mind the rotation cut here. Because this I think is a case where finesse can totally get the ball first. And I think the team should be playing super conservative, but they should be like a little bit conservative, a little defensive. You just don't want to let your opponent back in the game. The easiest way to let your opponent in the game is like give them some scoring chances. Fortunately, finesse hits this pretty poorly. So if Parking had been back, probably would not have gotten that ball, to be fair. So like in a way it sort of worked out, but like as the last person back, there's no one there. So I think this is just a case like Quantum could have been boned either way, but I like people's chances, not when they're like, making a rush challenge, when they can have the half second to think about it. So, like, again, like I think the cut from finesse is actually fine. It's perfectly fine in that situation. So good flick. Don't know, but I understand. So Ike with the patented Ander hit right there on the wall. Center through corner. Okay, oh boy. Boy, was I livid on this one. Boy, am I really, really mad. I call this third person into the attack. That's the shorthand of it. So why am I really, really mad about this? All right. How do we help our heroes out on this? So Fox sends it down. All right, so tape. All right, this is this next level crap. Okay, so you go back. Fox sends it up. If Fox is going to chase this, you need to support him in this case. We're kind of throwing the rules out the window because guess what? It's under 30 and you guys need to score. So if you're retreating because they're getting the ball first, that's perfectly fine. But they don't, but you're really far back. And Ike is making a weird rotation too. But really, I think the time, you just, you need to start following that ball almost immediately. So basically off Fox's hit and just like, you kind of got to get in the play. It's either that or, just like support Fox in every single way. But again, like we know that boost isn't there and I probably wouldn't worry about it spawning. Like if it was me, I think I'd be chasing the ball. Yeah, because I actually don't know. I don't know exactly where Ike's going to be. Maybe he's going for opponent's corner, but like on your team right now, like you have the best chance of hitting that ball forward, even if it doesn't look great right now. Okay, so Ike. Okay, that you make that turn, yeah. Should have hit the ball. Did what I did. Just watch those challenges. Those are so freaking scary. Yeah. Somewhere here. So. Yeah, I probably can't really assist. Ike also needs to say that he's empty. Like, even coming into this challenge, I'd just probably say low or empty, challenging. Again, whatever. It's hard to assume like where your teammate's going to be here. I don't necessarily mind doing this. Okay, but now this is really bad. And probably I should have checked earlier on the boost. I mean, really, I should have just GTFO. Yeah, like, and just like turned around, like. Tried to land in a spot where he could just basically circle back to the neck because, like, at this point, like he needs pads. You have to be thinking pads at this point, and not hundreds. If he's thinking, yeah, like he's kind of too late. Like, so, and this is kind of like the faster decision making that needs to start being made. Is just that you're out of boost. Like, if you're going for the 100, you need to... if you're going far corner 100, you need to make sure that you're checking that. Otherwise, you just need to, like, get pads and just, like, start pressuring. Because by the time he actually checks, like, it's gone because, the opponent has picked it up. So now he's kind of, like, rotating through the play. He's rotating back and there's no boost. And, like, there's 23 seconds. Also has not seen Fox, really. So, like, this is a decision that needed to be made that you just need to try and go for this ball. Or, like, yeah, do something. But it's like, I'm taking 12. I'm taking 12 and then using it and going to nowhere. Again, like, these are, like, the decisions that affect everything. So, like, he's just going back. And, like, is now making a turn now that the mid spawned. And misses. So it's like, okay, now I'm going to go back here. It's just like, oh, this is so frustrating. Meanwhile, like, so Fox correctly has 100. Probably could have hit that back. Probably could have hit that net, actually. But whatever. I love the foul. I love going up here. And the minute I see this, I I would be livid. Because, like, honestly, Tate, like, you had 30. So you could have easily had anywhere from 40 to 50. Um, I I can't even figure out what Ike's doing at the moment. But it's like the problem is someone has to be here for this ball. And there's just no one here for this ball. So, like, I would say, like, that's a pretty disastrous play. It's, again, not bad, down by 1, 3 minutes to go, but you're under 30 seconds. Like, unfortunately, there has to be a sense of urgency. And, like, there isn't any like solo queue vindictiveness going on here. Like, this is league play, in whatever, the 12th, 11th tier of Rocket League. So, like, it's just, it's these little things. And that probably was okay, like, in Plat and Diamond. Because, like, there's a 50% chance your opponent would miss it or mishit it. But, like really, this is where, like, you have to stop being unforgiving, and you have to you have to learn to play without 100. And that's it's really frustrating because that's a clear cut chance that should have happened. Again, maybe they would have saved it, but hey, you're up in the air, the ball's coming into the middle, and so I just kind of want to see what's happening here. I don't necessarily mind this. Probably should still be called. I mean, that's still Fox's ball. Yeah, that's Fox's ball. I just needs to wait. I mean, again, like, I understand 12 seconds. So kind of like how I praised Fox for just kind of staying back again. It might have been the 7 boost. Like, Ike has to have the control here. Really, anybody has to have the control. In Ike's position, not go for this ball. And the reason why is, like, I don't think Ike's hitting it into the net. It's probably just going this way. So it's like Tate's kind of rotating around. Okay, so, like, Tate actually sticks in there. Tate, if you had, like, started just cutting inwards, that would have been fine too. So this is probably just a calm situation. And I know, like, this is a case now, again, it's like something's like, well, what about rotating behind? You're in the last 10 seconds. Like, I think you can safely cheat up as the 1 regardless of boost level. Yeah. So it's a tough skill to learn, but you just have to do it. You just have to drill it into everyone. Probably the easiest way is just get to talking, but, like, after some point we just you just have to kind of go, like, full sweaty. But, like, because if comms happens, like, you sort of have to make a decision, like, Fox says got it or up or whatever. And then from your perspective, you need to figure out what to do. But, like, I don't actually mind from your point. Like, you can turn downfield. Let's say if you theoretically know where your teammates are. Yeah. So this is from, the next level pile of bullshit that Ander has. Just turn downfield. I think it's worth taking the risk here. You have two teammates back. If they, yeah, I at this point, again, yeah. If that clock says 3:13, totally go back. And again, like, this is really hard when you kind of just get like, you're developing and you're like setting these ways. Is like, you finally developed it. It's like, shit. What do I actually do now? So, that's why I'm trying to help point it out. Because I'm pretty sure I think I would have cut up field. I'm not going to get that mid. So I'm just going to try. I'm actually just going to try and like set up for something maybe. Because I think actually you got 35. So if this ball comes to Fox or Ike, they could hit it to you. So like I would probably actually conserve the boost. So this is probably what I would do. I would conserve my boost and hope that Fox or Ike, depending on how this ball comes out right here, let's see if we can like try and steal overtime here. So I'd be kind of looking for a redirect. And like if you're not comfortable with that, again, like I know how hard that's going to be. But I think in this chance, this is like kind of recognizing, hey, this technically gives us the best chance to win. And this is kind of like shading into this like 10%, 5% chance to win. But, right now as the scoreboard says, you're not winning. So again, it's just kind of recognizing that. And like, yeah, I kind of think like parking yourself like here, depending on like what Prodigy does, like, and you kind of got to be like setting up for the redirect. But yeah, I think like just doing that gives you like the best chance here. Because like also like, yeah. Yeah, and you do like this is great. Like I think you're actually like sort of set up. You probably just need to be slightly more angled. I know you cut back, but like you kind of like conserve boost and everything, and it's just like, yeah, but yeah, then you do it here. But like if you had done that, I think that'd just give your team the best chance to win. And again, like it's totally rely upon your teammates hitting it right and everything. But I think it's just, it would be the better option. And obviously the other option is just come down, go wee, and make a run at finesse. Which actually I think you could have done. Yeah. Yeah. So you had two options. I actually think the first option is try and do the redirect. Probably because you were seeing the net open. But if you've caught any glimpse of finesse, the second option would just be boost, boost, boost. I'd just try and go for finesse. You may get him, you may not. But I feel with like the timing on this play, like I think you could have gotten the finesse. Because this ball actually turned out to be on. I think and actually kind of like the next level thing is at best try and force them to dodge towards here on the wall. just in case they can't get down. Um, but yeah, I think that it might have technically be the better option, but I don't. I think I would have seen the open net, and even if it was me, even with my shooting history, I would have tried to take the redirect. Um, but like Fox gets a touch on this. Um, I think I could have followed as well if there wasn't a double commit. So again, like there's a lot happening here. So yeah, this game was definitely winnable. Again, those like last 20-25 seconds, it's here are my credentials, like 30,000 plus games. I don't know what that translates to. I'm probably at 3,500 hours. Um, I'm the C3 stuck in D3. Yeah, it's part of it is just really recognizing when you do have to throw caution to the wind. You know, it's you'll randomly like hear me say if you like watching my streams like, yeah, I think I'm just going to be a lot here. Um, a lot famously known in the early days, at least every time I was turning into RLCS, just being way up front, you know, um, but yeah, I think if you guys had done one of those two things, yeah, like Fox may have never dropped it to you in the first place, but I just think giving that option could have helped. Um, but yeah, and obviously for the rest of the video, because we are approaching 3:45, and surprise, I'm trying to break my mongoose record. Um, Game 5 is kind of bad, so we're not just gonna go over it. Also, I don't have the replay. So yeah, so I just think like here, like the things to work on for the Scorpions. The takeaways are immediately is kind of like it's. I feel like just some of it is the mental like non free play stuff to work on, which is always tough. But like even like you can work on this stuff in solo queuing. So it's just the positioning, the rotations, um, and like if you're doing that and you're playing ranked or whatever solo queuing and your teammates are acting like idiots, just make sure that you like take the step back and just say like, okay, was that is my teammate an idiot? Was I doing everything right? Just make sure you have that like self-reflection moment. um, and obviously like work on comms, like just comms. Like I know it sucks, but like you know comms is in the team chemistry, and like team chemistry can close the gap between talent in a hurry. you know and suddenly if you're all equally talented but you guys are calming, rotating, doing all that mental things, like suddenly, hey, you're the better team. um, like I mean, truthfully, the series was there for the taking. So, you know, just learn from it, you know, and get back to it. And if you want to add to the pile of stuff to work on, I'll probably at this point just recommend some of the stuff I took Mongoose. Um, yeah, so I saw that, and it's actually a pretty decent training pack. um, so just like saves, he's getting a routine in the wild. Um, if this is probably just good aerial practice. I would say that if you want to work on just kind of like, really in a way, just like basic stuff, just doing that and working, just doing all sorts of the air, just aerials and just hitting the ball, just trying to graduate from aerials and just making sure hitting the ball, and then working on hitting the ball square, then putting power behind everything. Like, this is a really good one. And for those of you that have that, that's still kind of that. I actually like that. I like that a lot with Bacchus mod. And like my secret pack, this is kind of like a really good, just doing fast aerials, just trying to hit the ball. I have been playing with this one for, since I've been on PS4, so it's at least over a year, probably longer, so 15, 18 months. Just, again, same thing as kind of like with this. It just concentrate on like, fast aerials, just getting up, hitting the ball, and then working a little bit with like car positioning, and that sort of thing, just making sure that it doesn't matter how you position your car, that you just position in a way that the ball goes in the net, and then you can start working on air rolling. It's kind of advanced, but it's it has a good starting point for some of the things. It's just like the aerials, double jump aerials, even get them the fast aerials. So yeah, like this. I know this has like some really just crazy stuff, but there's some there's some basic to medium stuff that's good in there. And then obviously that has like the secret tech. So yeah. So also I know that you probably don't want to hear me ramble anymore. So the goal is to try and turn these around within 24, 48 days on the YouTube. You can find them in the What You Are Doing Wrong. Hopefully I labeled this one properly. If not, it will be labeled on the YouTube properly. Shush! I don't care about your opinion right now, dog. So it'll be archived there. But yeah, I know this is like pretty basic. I don't have a lot of tools, and this is offensively challenged person's views on a lot of things. So I'm just like kind of try and provide my perspective. So bear with me when I say it's like, I think this is what I would do, because again, trying to take into account everything. And this is the first review, so also trying to get familiar with just like the Scorpions. Again, we're approaching 3:45. This is how long the Mongoose's first one took. We'll get under the 3-hour mark and hopefully the 2-hour mark for a 3-game series at some point. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. I thank you all for watching. I will be in Discord out of a cubbyhole shortly for questions, or if you just want to DM me, that's fine too. I don't pay attention probably to comments on videos because right now it's just all spam anyways. So yeah. But thank you for watching. Hopefully this will be helpful. Yeah, and we'll see what comes out of it. Yeah. Bucks, I'll answer that afterwards. So, thank you all for watching.